What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another SLA video. All right, guys, I promised you guys I'd be doing this, and here we are. We're going to focus on getting Monarch's domain down pat and understanding how it all functions, how it all works. So I've done a 35-minute test just right now to kind of get the general sense of how this thing functions. I'm going to show you guys a little bit of that testing, not the whole thing, and give you guys the preliminary understanding of how it works and if it makes a big impact. Now, the reason why we're doing this test is I want to get a before and after test here, okay? The duration of Monarch's domain is only 8 seconds, both times, whether it's the before and the after. The difference here really is the shadows also dealing additional damage up to 400% based on your rare, heroic, legendary value of attack. All right, currently it only deals an extra 100% of the value of attack. Now I want to understand where that attack comes from. All right, is it just basic attack? Is it weapons? Is it cores? Is it artifacts? So I did a lot of testing. So what I'm going to do, guys, is I'm going to walk you through this, my testing, what I did. I'm going to show you guys some images and some videos, and then we're going to wait till tomorrow and give you guys a full-on update of a before and after. But I do want to give you guys a general sense of how Monarch's domain works and how it is functioning currently in the game. You guys can see here are some of the numbers that I've been pulling off. This is what I've been using it. So let's go through some of the data, some of the footage, and talk a little bit about how this works and how it all functions. All right, so I'll be right back. All right, guys, before we go on with the video, just want to remind everybody, support program, still 1 week left to get yourself 6 additional codes, a 7th one on the way tomorrow, plus an extra one exclusive coming out at the end of the season. Guys, if you have not hit that support program, go hit it. It's free for you. It benefits me, benefits you. You're all going to get some codes at the end of the day. All right, guys, on with the rest of the video. Thank you. All right, guys, let's jump into it. So here we are. This is me right there. You guys saw me. I'm just putting myself up. I did, in fact, do 35 minutes of this video, right? So this is going to be a long one. So the first thing I did is I want to focus on what affected the attack, right? Because for 8 seconds, the shadows will do 100% of your attack. So what exactly is that comprised of? So we're going to go over this real quick. I'm going to fast forward a little bit. So you guys can see here from a weapon perspective, you get a certain amount, and then you get an amount from artifacts, cores, etc. So what we did first is we went ahead and we we removed all artifacts, we removed all weapons, we removed all cores. Everything was blank, all right? So we did that. And then secondly, I just used Tank, because Tank doesn't have any debuffs. He has no extra buffs to himself. He just does a stun, right? At the end of the day, those are going to be the purest numbers you're going to possibly find. So we jumped into POD. Yes, I did delete my score and went ahead to do this testing for you guys. So we went in there and we did 2 different things. I started off on the right hand first and then went to the left hand, okay? So we let him do his moves. You can see Tank right there doing damage. And then you'll see the damage up here, 1.144. Okay, so this is without any weapons. This is without any artifacts, any cores. So do those affect it? That was the first thing we wanted to ask ourselves. Okay, so I started recording some numbers. You guys can see again down here, 2704, 35 minutes worth of it. I did a backup video obviously as well too after this. But you guys will see here, I'll pull up the numbers, what it looks like. So the first thing, run one with Tank with 5.4k attack and no equipment, no weapons or artifacts. These were the numbers, okay? They were kind of inconsistent, but some of it, there was some consistency. So I'd say on average, 1.5 million is probably the damage that it did. Now, to keep things into perspective, remember, Shadow's Monarch only lasts for 8 seconds. I let it run the whole course of the Shadow. Just let it do its own thing, okay? So that's the first thing we did. And then once we got enough numbers there for that, we went ahead and we turned around and we went the other direction, okay? And then after that, I equipped 2 weapons, just so everyone's aware. So that way we have a little bit more of an understanding of, do weapons affect it or not? So the weapons, when you equip them, came up to 1.2819, so 6.60 of that is weapon attack power, the rest is stats, okay? So just to see how this turned out. So we went ahead and did this, and then the numbers started to look a little bit different, all right? Numbers definitely looked a little bit different. And you guys can see here, we have 1.3, 1.56, 1.487. So they were a little bit more consistent on that front. We didn't get the 2.04, but I feel like we probably could have if I ran it more than 3 times. Okay, so that definitely was a little bit more noticeable there. So after that, what I did is I went ahead and started putting on equipment. Okay, so what we did is we put on artifacts. So you guys can see here, artifacts are now put on. That put me at 35k attack. Again, 6.160 is weapons. The rest is stats and artifacts. And we tried to see what the numbers look like there. All right. Now the numbers definitely turned out better in this case. They were 1.930, 2.045, 1656, 1783. So it looks like, and again, this could be RNG related, right? Could be a couple extra crits and stuff. It looks like at 100%, it could have, artifacts could have affected it, but I'm not 100% sure because the numbers are not substantially that much bigger, right? Because again, if you look at it without artifacts, without weapons, it still was I was still able to hit the 2.046, and look at this, 2.45. So I feel like you really are not getting much more from artifacts, if anything at all, from artifacts, right? And then I went ahead and put on cores to see if cores made a difference, and it really didn't make a difference at all. Like, it was very, very minimal. It was one time a 2.089, but that could have been a simple crit, right? So from what I'm getting here from this video, from all this testing that I've been doing, is that it does look like there is an effect from weapons perhaps, but even then, I don't know if that's true, right? So, because you would have to sit here for hours with a dummy that didn't move like this, and with POD, there's a lot of inconsistencies because obviously the dragon moves, the dragon does different maneuvers, knockbacks, hands get swiped left and right, a lot of shadows die, etc., right? So we did that, and again, didn't show too much of a consistency, but at least tomorrow, I'll be able to take these numbers, do the same test, and see how Monarch's Domain works in comparison to how much the numbers are worthwhile or not. Now, a couple things to remember about this. Right now, all the skills are level 1. With the new update, you're going to be able to level up skills. So Monarch's Domain probably will have a bigger impact because of that skill leveling portion. Number 2, also to remember the limitations of shadows. This only lasts for 8 seconds. Shadows only last for, 20 some odd seconds. And then on top of that, you have to remember that shadows can't be used everywhere. Shadows can't be used in Guild Boss, for example, right? So that instantly causes a problem. So you guys can see there, I instantly put on another core, then I went up to 40k attack. And again, the numbers were not that much different, right? They're actually very consistent to the top numbers up here. So again, I don't think any of this stuff matters. I think it works off of your base core. It might even work off your stats, right here in the strength stat. That might be the only thing that really affects it. So we know right away that's really not that good. So then I went ahead and ran it with Kaisel, Big Rock, and Tank. And you guys can see the numbers are over here for those guys. Let me just see if these are all the guys here. Here we go. So I decided, because the reason why I put these guys in here, just so everyone's aware, is because none of these guys here have debuffs. So I want to just show that, okay, nobody has debuffs. They all have no crazy buffs as well, except for speed, and they all just do basic damage, right? So that was kind of the consistent part of it. I want to make sure the numbers aren't skewed through the bleeds or, defense downs, etc. So we went ahead and did this test, and the numbers obviously are going to be a lot larger with 3 shadows versus 1 shadow. So you guys, the interesting thing here was that Kaisel lasted the longest out of every single shadow. He was there at least for another 6 or 7 seconds after everything was over, which was unique. So I didn't really know that he had that ability. And I think it's because of his long animation times. But 5.139, 6565, 6958 with Monarch's Domain, equipment, 2 weapons, cores. Okay? And here, this is what I'm talking about. Watch, I'll show you guys real quick. Watch this. Now, of course, I think this will be better as the weapons increase. But look, these guys are going to be gone in a second. They're gone. And look. He's still around. He's still casting, still doing skills, has more HP, it seems like, and then does this thunder move. Like, this was interesting. So this might be a good indication of who to keep around on your team when this finally happens. Because look, he did the last move, now he's gone. Okay, so that was an extra good, 6-7 seconds that Kaisel sticks around and does that. So that was unique, all right? Now, what was interesting with this is I ran it without Monarch's Domain. Just to be like, hey, does it make that much of an impact in the first place? As it stands right now, 5796527, 3975955. So this was a really, really bad one. 6489309. So there is definitely a higher top end damage with Monarch's Domain on there for the first 8 seconds for sure. You definitely notice it right away because when the numbers are showing, the first 8 seconds with Monarch's Domain versus without is definitely noticeable. All right. These right here had a couple lucky crits, I think. But when it came down to it, I didn't record all of it. It is some more recording later on. The numbers were actually more consistent with Monarch's Domain, but it wasn't that much higher. So the top end number wasn't that much higher, but Monarch's Domain, it was just more consistent, right? So keep that in mind. So again, this is with Kaisel, Big Rock, and Tank. None of them do debuffs. I think these numbers will look much better if you did Igris, Blades, and somebody else, right? That does Tusk maybe? Who knows? I think these numbers will look better. Maybe Kaisel even is a good choice because he just does so much damage. But I think with the proper shadows, this would work a lot higher. It would get a lot higher. But is it substantial? Not really, right? If you run this on POD for a good whole run, you'd probably get maybe 3 or 4 shadows out, if you times this by 4, you're really not getting that much damage out of them, right? As it currently stands. So we'll see tomorrow, guys, with Monarch's Domain when it comes out. I'll do a comparison to see how much of a difference it makes. And hey, who knows? If this goes up 4 times the amount, then that's a different story, right? Then the numbers are going to look better. Plus, not to mention, you can level up skills and everything else that goes along with it. All right, guys. Thank you for watching. Let me know what you guys think. I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.